Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever, wherever you are.
In other places. I guess it's evening in other places. I guess it's middle of the night in other places.
Middle of the night. Some places it's already tomorrow. Whoa. What?
Crazy.
Time travel. It's possible.
Well, we're all time travelers. Didn't I say this last week?
Yeah.
We are all time travelers because we are traveling through time.
Through time, right?
Our experience
here.
of it is linear and progressive, not. So far as I know right now, I can't physically go back in time. I can consciously go back in time, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Well, welcome to the rant. And there's folks watching. This is great. Welcome everybody. So glad that you're here. Yeah. This is the rant with Dr. J.Z. and the Saint, where we are here to discuss radically affirmative new thought and new ways of thinking that maybe will help us understand spirituality in a more practical, usable, distinguishable way.
Yes. Practicality for me is paramount in the study of any spiritual philosophy.
Yes.
If I can't make it practical or usable in my life, then it doesn't matter.
Right. What it was just a blimp in time if we're not using it. Yes. Yeah. We were talking about that in class number 5 of the 4 agreements this past week, that if you're not using what you're learning, why are you what's the point? What are you doing? Yeah. Find something you do want to use in your life and go spend time in that. Life is this long. Don't waste it doing things you don't want to be doing, y'all.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I do have some crazy things going on today. There's Chewy, my daughter's dog, hangs out in the basement. That's his. It's a lovely, warm place for him to be, and that's where he usually wants to be. But today he really wants to be up here. As soon as I go live, he's like, meow, meow. So I don't know if you can hear him, but he is like causing some noise over there. But
I can't hear him, so I'm assuming no one will.
Excellent. Yeah. And the other one's chilling, guarding her bone because she knows Chewy's downstairs. So if he comes up, she's prepared to re-hide the bone. Hey, we've got Andy here in White Ridge, Colorado.
Wheat Ridge.
Yeah.
As in theater school, in my voice and movement class, we would have been encouraged to say wheat.
Yes.
Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Hi, Andy. Great to see you online. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are here. If you're watching, let us know what you would like a radically affirmative new thought about. We are open to suggestions. And now Chewy is barking.
Now I can hear that.
Yeah, he's having an off day today. I don't know what that's about. Tammy just came down to grab some more tea or coffee and is handling him, but he was just outside. Like, he's fine. He's just being him.
He just wants to say, hey, here I am. Don't forget me.
Hey.
I know what that's like with a nearly 5-month-old puppy at home.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he's 11.
Yeah. They still want to but puppies, dogs. Right?
Yeah.
And they're puppies forever. Let's face it.
They are puppies forever. Yeah.
But they want you to know. They want to remind you, here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget.
Just like no matter how old I get, I'm still the baby to my parents. Yeah. No matter how old, I'm still the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you had any radically affirmative new thoughts this week? Where's your
there's a lot going on
gotten to this week?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Life is quite full, and I like fullness in life. You know, a lot of people would translate that as, oh, life is so busy. And I get to decide my relationship to the fullness of my life. I can decide it's either, oh, it's so busy, or I can say, hey, you know what? Life is full and awesome. How cool is that?
How cool is that? Yes.
Yeah. So what has happened this week? Well, actually, I know. I'm teaching a practitioner class right now. And
wonderful.
Yeah. And
the world needs more practitioners for sure.
I'm teaching spiritual practitioners, students, and they had actually their exam this week, their first term exam.
Oh, wow.
Week.
And, wonderful.
They all did really well so far. At least the exams that I have looked through so far, they've all done really well. So I'm grateful for that. But it made me think, what if I were to put Steph in the hot seat?
Oh, goodness. I hate the hot seat.
These were some of the questions that are on the exam.
Okay, just so you know that I'm the kind of student that in university would now get a variance.
Okay.
On written and oral exams.
What is subjective consensus? What does that mean?
Subjective consensus?
Mm-hmm.
So something I would have probably learned 13 years ago.
Yeah, these are all the things that we're like putting out there. It's all this jargon that we put together.
Yeah, we put together jargon. Subjective consensus. Well, I mean, you just break down those two words. Mm-hmm. So the subjective mind is something.
What does consensus mean?
And consensus means an overall sense of agreement.
Right.
So an agreement of the subjective mind.
Yes. Yes.
So Tammy let the dog up and now he wants back down.
Are you avoiding the answer now?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It basically is group thought.
Group thought. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Race consciousness. Chewy. No.
Yeah. And, we're moving away from using race consciousness in our community because people get so confused when you have the word race in there.
Yeah. Like I prefer collective consciousness.
Yeah. The only thing is I say group thought. And I differentiate it from collective consciousness because for me, collective consciousness is the wholeness of consciousness. That's how I utilize that phrase.
Yes.
So there can be a collective, but when I talk collective consciousness, I'm talking about the wholeness. So I say there's a group thought or a subjective consensus within this group.
Yes.
That's how I
like it.
Parse it down.
I like it.
What's the value of feelings in treatment? In affirmative prayer treatment, I should say. What is the value of feelings in that?
Feelings are the gasoline that fuel your word.
A+.
Sweet. Yes. Gold stars.
Without feeling, nothing happens. So there you go. Those are the only two.
Yeah.
Those are the only two.
Well, it's the feeling. It's the feeling, right? So we want to define our feelings and how we want to feel when we set an intention to do our prayer work, because how I feel about anything is how I'm showing up in the world, right? Like if I'm feeling upset and dysfunctional, then that's showing up in my world everywhere, upset and dysfunction everywhere I look, because that's how I'm perceiving it.
Yes.
So
because your thoughts, the power of your beliefs, the power of your feelings are creating the quality of your life.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Gold star for that. Yeah. We have people watching.
Yes, we do.
There's people watching all over the place. Let's see those loves, those likes. Let's have some comments. Let us know you're watching, where you're watching from, how you found us, whatever you want to do. Engage in this conversation. Or Dr. Jonathan's going to keep me on the hot seat, you guys. Let's go.
Ask me a question. Put me on the hot seat.
I don't have those kinds of questions for you. Just like lamenting in my mind. I have never taught a practitioner class.
No.
And so, I'm kind of I want to go back and like start again. I had this conversation with someone a couple weeks ago about we're both black belts in Taekwondo. And I haven't done Taekwondo in a really long time, super long time. And so if I wanted to go back and get back into Taekwondo, I would find a new dojang, and I would not tell anyone I have any experience in Taekwondo, because I just want to show up and engage in the activity of it without having preconceived notions or expectations. Because if you are a black belt and you walk into someone else's dojang, they expect you to be, ready to teach. And it's the same thing, right? Like, oh my goodness. I was again talking, like, when discussing whether or not you let people know you're a minister before, like, once you're if you're in a new space, do you share with them that you are a minister, because of all the preconceived notions and expectations just that one title has.
Can I just share with you?
There's more preconceived notions or expectations on the word minister than there are on the word doctor.
Mm-hmm. I feel compelled to share this with you.
Mm-hmm.
For many years now, and I know that you've heard this, Steph. For many years now, my husband has been encouraging me to apply to be on Survivor.
Oh my goodness.
Did I have ever told you this?
Yes, I think so.
Well, because I watch Survivor. I enjoy Survivor. I used to be very anti-Survivor, and then I started watching. I was like, this show is great. And it's in its 47th season now. Now, before you think it's been on for 47 years, it hasn't.
No,
they have two seasons every year. Yeah. But it's in its 47th season this year. And I started thinking, like, if I were to apply and I were to get on the show, would I tell people that I'm a New Thought minister? Like, would I tell the other people in my tribe that I'm a New Thought minister? I'm like, I don't know. Like, how would that play into things? What would their preconceived notions be about me? And they would come with a lot of preconceived notions.
Yes. So, including the type of minister you are, right? Like, as soon as I say minister, I'm a minister in some circle, I'm immediately equated to a Christian minister and what it means to be a Christian minister. And that looks a lot different than how I participate and engage in ministry, because that's what like the minister means, to minister, like, so minister to. And I, like, I'm not anything like that.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And there's, beautiful Christian ministers for sure. There are amazing people, and there's amazing New Thought ministers out there. And I'm not equipped to answer specific denominational questions. And that's, as soon as I'm in a brand new circle and someone finds out I'm a minister, it's like, Jesus this, Christian that, like, and I'm like, I've got my opinions for sure, but I am not a scholastically, academically trained Christian minister. So you want to know about science of mind, I can probably answer some questions.
I want to say, shout out. We've got some questions first of all, I want to do shout out to Leah. Say hello, Leah. Grateful to see you. Sharon, grateful to see you. Hello from Tucson. Sharon, by the way, I've not asked her permission, but she's part of the CSL Tucson community.
Yes.
In a few weeks, we're going to be sharing our space with
that's awesome.
Community of Tucson and Center for Spiritual Living Tucson are going to be sharing space. I'm super excited about that.
I remember seeing in a conference Bishop Yvette Flunder, and she just kept saying, we're married now, right? Because and so I love that connection between Unity of Tucson and CSL Tucson. I think that's what a great partnership.
And the great thing is, we're working really diligently to make sure that we are clear that because divinity expresses uniquely, that we are maintaining separate identities, but sharing the same physical space, which I think is really, I'm hoping that we become an example in many ways for how we can be in collaborative community. in a movement that, and I'm going to just say that my experience of the movement has been that there's oftentimes undercurrents of competition feeling, and I don't stand for that. I'm
There's no competition in God.
No.
Who are you competing against? You're all divine, all of us.
Yes. Wayne, how can oneness faith spread like a virus? Actually, I have an idea about that.
Yes.
Be absolutely unapologetic about the truth you know. I think far too frequently, even ministers in this movement, we shy away from having the conversation that we're talking about, Steph, which is we identify ourselves as a minister, but then we shy away from having the conversation of, here's what I stand for in faith. Here's what I believe. And I'm not telling you, you have to believe that. In fact, you know me, I start every Sunday saying, you may hear something you don't believe. You may hear something that butts up against your belief system. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I am here to offer the teaching that I have found works for me.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But if we are unapologetic about our expression of oneness, being the oneness in the world, that's how it will spread. But we have to not shy away from it. That's my answer. How about you?
No, that's a virus. Thinking about like a virus, it is impersonal and unconditional.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the law of mind, impersonal and unconditional. And so live the principles, live the principles, be the example.
Yes.
And like there's just, that's it. Just live the principles, be yourself, be unapologetically authentic and real about who you are, and allow, because when you give yourself permission to be that, you're giving everyone the same permission.
So I've answered my own question about what I would do on Survivor.
Yes.
I would have to unapologetically be authentic in my belief. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Yes.
And it could help you win the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah, you absolutely. Or not. I mean, here's the thing. It is a contest of, in many ways, deception. I might have a little bit of a challenge, like being deceptive.
I would suck at it.
Yes, we are breaking norms, Sharon. Grateful.
Yes.
Here's another really good question. In 12-step programs, the steps refer to a God that is a God of separation. How do you interpret the reference of God in New Thought? I actually do have an answer for this as well. My experience with 12-step and recovery, and I do have a little experience with that particular paradigm. I don't know that it's necessarily a God of separation. It's a God of your understanding, is how it is mostly referred to. The God of your understanding. Well, the God of my understanding is not a separate God. And, I think sometimes, and I think there's going to be an approach in any 12-step group you are a part of, if that is part of your life experience, if you're part of a 12-step group, to get really clear on, am I in alignment spiritually with what I'm hearing? And you are at choice to understand God in your own way. And I don't think there's any prohibition. I don't think there's any prohibition to that in 12-step programs, because, here's the thing about 12-step. 12-step was developed basically at the same time New Thought was being developed, like really the proliferation of New Thought. And there's actually a lot of synchronicity in 12-step. Bill W. Looked at the works of Emmett Fox very deeply in developing this 12-step program. So,
and had a relationship with Ernest Holmes.
Yeah. So
So
does that, I trust that makes sense. Yeah, Sharon is affirming that it's God as we understand God. Exactly. I have to ignore the hymns. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Listen to the language and reinterpret that. I worked in my own mind when I was first in this philosophy to automatically correct and reinterpret. when I was hearing the dualism in people's speech. I would just correct it in my own mind. I didn't say it out loud. I didn't tell anyone they were wrong. I would just know what was right for me.
Yeah. I call it translation.
Yeah.
Yeah. We translate someone else's language. I'm translating for myself. I went through this, this phase of just angry about all the hymns in that if I want spiritual wisdom, it's very often from, generally a white man's perspective in all of this, right? So there are amazing new things coming out that are more appropriate to our modern understanding of all of this. But I had this phase of crossing out in one of my textbooks every hymn. And I was like, this one page had 19 hymns on it. And it would cause me stuff. And so I'm just like, okay, calm down. It's not personal. It was written in 1926. No worries. No worries.
Do you know where God is referred to as him?
That's the book I'm talking about.
Him in this book.
That's the book I'm talking about. Yeah. You will go through pages of my textbook, and you'll just see him crossed out everywhere, which is a beautiful way of incorporating and practicing they and thems. Right? Because they and them suits, or the one whom, those kinds of things.
But even that language says that it is a being rather than a beingness of creative energy.
No, I'm not talking about him as a description of God, or they as them as a description of God. The one who is praying is they and them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because God is genderless. God has no gender. So there is no way of we're all just doing the best that we can with the words that we have.
Yeah. God is genderless, and God is all genders.
Yes. Androgynous. Infinitely one.
Yes.
Like indefinable. So when we say God is this, we are also saying God is not that.
Right. And if God is infinite, the minute we put language around trying to describe that, we have now limited the unlimited.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's a challenge, because we're, those of us who are in this spiritual path, who are on this spiritual path, part of it is trying to understand the nature of the divine. But even the idea that we can ever understand it wholly and fully limits the idea of the unlimited, of the infinite. So there's no way, but I'm going to keep on this path personally to allow the unfoldment to do its greatness within me, because my life is better by being on this path. That's all.
Yeah. Well, and when we break down the path I'm on, okay, so breaking down the path that I'm on, it has no language. The path that I am on, we were talking about it, it's feeling, right? And so I was feeling things I didn't want to feel. I found a book and a teacher and some classes and some folks that helped me change my thinking so that I could change the way I feel. But for me, you strip away all of the language, and I still have prayer. I still have meditation, right? You take all of that away, and I still have my spirituality, because I don't need words to pray, and I don't need words to meditate. And there's nothing separate from God and the one who is praying. So any words that I'm coming up with are already in the mind of God. I don't need to do a thing. There is no fingers to be lifted. There is sitting, hugging a tree is a spiritual path, if that's what works for you. What works for me is I know that I have used the science of mind to adjust how I feel about myself
Mm-hmm.
so that I could change how I feel about the world. And there's nothing, and that's just tuning in and aligning with a presence that is undescribable and needs no language to answer a prayer.
Yeah. I think what you have just described, I think you've just described yourself as a mystic.
Okay.
We've had this conversation. Yeah. What is a mystic?
Yeah, someone who feels truth and wisdom.
Yeah.
That's, like there's because language is limited and fallible. Oh, I didn't mean that. Oh, that's not what I meant to say. If we say that, it means that we don't have conscious control over over how we're expressing language.
Mm-hmm.
I used to say back when I taught Taekwondo, control is never having to say you're sorry. And if we are training our thoughts and training our minds to be present, we'll never have to say we're sorry, because we're just in the moment with the moment. There's nothing to be forgiven. There's nothing to be forgiven.
Well, thank you for mentioning that, because people get confused, I think, sometimes here at Unity of Tucson, because the second phrase in our mission statement is forgive everything.
Yes.
And I talk about that because that actually, first of all, it challenges people, because we're saying forgive everything, right?
Forgive everything.
But the next step of that is, when we forgive everything, we realize that in the infinite, there was nothing to forgive in the first place.
Yeah.
But that is mastering spiritual understanding. I had a conversation with Neil Donald Walsh, actually here in this office, when he was visiting and doing a guest speaking engagement here at Unity of Tucson. Neil Donald Walsh, who transcribed Conversations with God, right? And he challenged me on the idea of forgive everything as part of our statement here. He said, I think you should rethink that. And I'm like, well, and I've talked about it in many Sundays, to say, I do think that mastering spiritual understanding, which is I think what I think the nature of being a mystic is all about. Mastering spiritual understanding, not intellectually, not through religiosity, but through personal experience of divinity, right?
Yes,
That's what the practices that I engage in are meant to engage, are meant to do, is to invite me into a personal experience of divinity. And that for me is the truth of that's the deepest truth of mysticism. But in that, I have to acknowledge that anything that I perceive in the limited world, the limited experience of the world, is just that, it's limited. Yeah. And in mastering spiritual understanding, there's nothing to forgive in the infinite, ever.
Yeah. You haven't broken anything.
No.
Yeah. I would say, Neil Donald Walsh, please don't should on me or my community. No.
Well, right? He didn't mean it like you should do this. He was like saying, maybe give this.
You might consider. You might consider.
Yeah, and I have considered it deeply, for years now, because that was like 3 years ago, and I still think about it to this day.
Yeah. And I'm always saying how much I love. I know that Unity of Tucson is not the only folks who use those vision, mission, purpose statements. Or
right. Well, and may I give credit where credit is due? Because those were coined by my mentor in ministry, Dr. James Mellon, as the vision statement for his community. Yes. And he has graciously said, of course you can use that. I use it as the mission statement, though, as opposed to the vision statement.
Yes. Yeah. It feels mission-y to me.
Yeah.
Like here's my activities. Love only. Forgive everything.
Yes.
Remember who I am. Like those are like today's checklist, love only. Okay, how is my day going to be reflected back to me if my first response is love?
Yeah.
Like I love your guys' mission statement for sure. Like love only, because one of like my core things is love first, ask questions later, right? Because actually I'm going to share. I had a dream last night, and it was interesting. So in my dream last night, I was hanging out with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And we were having a spiritual conversation. We were doing spiritual work together, Donald Trump and I, in my dream last night.
Okay.
And I was talking about acceptance, like can you be more tolerant of others? Like we were talking about acceptance, we were talking about tolerance, and he said, "You first." Right? And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I woke up in this, like, right, me first. So if I'm challenged by opinions of other people because they seem discompassionate or, like they're unkind, like I'm looking through my lens and my perspective of everything that I've gone through in my life. And the total lens that I'm using would be like, can't we all just get along? Can't we just love only, Mm-hmm. And at the same time, he and I are one. There is no separation. And so if I can master 100% radical acceptance, radical love, if I can master radical love only, forgive everything, remember who I am, if I can master the activities of that, then the world will follow suit. Mm-hmm. And the people, like, because I can see, like, because in this dream, I was saying, but you this, and he's like, but I this, right? So we're both doing the best that we can. Yeah. We're both engaged in what we believe and stand for. And sometimes, oh my God, we have to stand for it.
It's fascinating. Because I get challenged by people in my life and in my community sometimes around what's happening in the political world here in the United States. Mm-hmm. And I do personally find it challenging. I'm not going to deny that. But I always remember that what I am experiencing is a creation of my own mind, my own feeling space, and that my experience of discord, which I do see discord in my life right now, is not anyone else's responsibility but mine. And what is being illuminated to me are shadow aspects of myself in a grand scale. I'm not responsible for anybody else's experience of them. I'm only responsible for my experience of them. So what is mine to do in the circumstances that are presenting themselves? Because all those circumstances are the reflection of what is within me. Yeah. And so I will admit, it took me a little while to move past the fear of what I perceive is unfolding in this country. Yeah. But I also have to accept that my fear is for me to own and to address, not for anyone else to fix. Yeah. 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 Well, what my dream told me was basically, keep praying. Yeah. Just keep loving. If love is what is yours to do, keep loving. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Like you're not forcing other people to receive your love. Your responsibility is to simply be love. Yeah. Be that. If you want love in your life, be that. If you want joy in your life, be that. If you want freedom, it's yours already. I think I read that somewhere. Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. I have no original thoughts, honey. I have no original thoughts. No thoughts are original because no thoughts are original. It's divine. Yeah. I want to say hi to Pat Campbell. Grateful to see you,
Pat Campbell.
Reverend Pat Campbell, Reverend Dr. Pat Campbell, I should
Reverend
say.
Doctor.
There in Calgary.
How you doing?
Grateful to see you.
Bet you Calgary's as cold as I am.
Probably. I'm wearing a sweater today here in Tucson.
Yeah, what's that?
I know, and
what's that about? Yeah,
it's 62 Fahrenheit right now in Tucson, and yes,
wow.
I wear a sweater because I have I have let go of my Canadian sensibility in terms of my relationship to cold.
Well, I'm stoked. It is 10 degrees warmer today than it was yesterday. So
yeah,
it's still minus cold, but yeah.
Yeah,
Greg, let's see. I'm a witness to an underlying vastness. I should have had my glasses. I apologize. Jonathan, you've got your glasses on.
I do. I can read. I am a witness to an underlying vastness and abundance that can absorb all negativity and watch it pass away. Yes, indeed. I will say to that, and so it is.
And so it is. Yes, I love that. Yes.
Yeah. And Greg is one of my colleagues now. More direct. I mean, so Greg and I. So now I'm going to say what I know about Greg. Greg and I were in the same everybody today. We were in the same ministerial class. We became ministers at the same time in 2011 in Centers for Spiritual Living. Greg now is the senior minister at Unity of Pasadena.
Fun.
Yeah, and is also now serving on the Unity Southwest Region Board, like I am. So, hi, Greg.
Hi, Greg.
Yeah.
Pasadena, that's where Big Bang people lived. That's where Sheldon Cooper lived.
Yes, indeed.
Love it. Love it.
What else do we need to know today?
What else do we need to know today?
What is mine to know today?
Love only. Forgive everything. Remember who you are. Yeah. It's so valuable to find a personal mission or a personal vision statement for yourself, right? Like, that was my journey because when I don't know who I am. Oh, what's that quote? It was a proverb from years ago. I used to say, when I don't know who, it was Ram Dass was quoting the tiger god or monkey god. When I don't know who I am, I serve you. When I know who I am you. I don't know why that just came up, but that's what just came up. But when I don't remember who I am, that's where I struggle. That's where my life feels messy and sticky and I feel stuck in things. I'm not moving forward. And when I know who I am, even the mundane tasks are joyful, right? Like when I know who I am, when I'm remembering who I am, like the peeling of the orange and the slicing of the celery, like everything. When I don't know who I am and the faucet breaks, it's devastating. It's like, why me? When I know who I am and the faucet breaks, it's like, oh, look, I get to pick out a new faucet today. We have all of that spectrum of life inside of us all the time. And we have the freedom to choose which direction we're heading. And oh my goodness, sometimes it's hard to remember. So especially like I have said, I've been studying my mind and my beingness and consciousness for 17 years now. And I still have days or months where I'm like, in the struggle. Like, why am I not pushing through this? I know better. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, that's the importance of sharing the path with other people. Like sharing the path with other people helps us remember that it's possible, right? And so
that's why I'm so grateful for our connection, Steph, because we have for more than a decade now been on been on calls basically every single week, and
13 years.
We help remind each other.
Yeah,
we help remind each other. I found that quote, by the way, the Ram Dass quote.
Yes.
When I believe I am the body, then I am your faithful servant. When I know I am the soul, I know myself to be a spark of your eternal light.
Mm.
I love that.
I love that. I love Ram Dass.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many amazing folks out there right now that are just brilliant minds that are deeply connected.
Yeah.
And some of them have passed, and therefore all of their wisdom is closer to us than we know.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, like there's people like Rupert Sherpa, I think his last name is. Like he's just tuned in, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Eckhart Tolle, like there's just so many minds that are just tuned in.
Yeah.
So any of you watching right now, do you have like some go-to folks that I need to hear some wisdom from this person? I know Tammy, my wife, Reverend Tammy St. Amand, she's all about Alan Watts these days. She's every morning she wakes up, she listens to an Alan Watts.
Right.
And that's been going on for months, which means there's tons of Alan Watts out there. Like YouTube is magnificent. So let us know who you're watching, who you're listening to, who you're reading. How are you engaging in your conscious evolution? We would love to know more about you who are watching, because we are you are us, we're one.
I have returned to the Everything Answer book by Amand Swami. That's been it's a book that I've returned to. I read it a couple of years ago, and I'm back to it again right now.
Someone just recommended that to me the other day.
Yeah?
Not you. Somebody else did. No, it wasn't you. Somebody else did.
The Everything Answer book. And then I joke because it's called the Everything Answer book and it answers absolutely nothing.
Perfect.
Which is kind of the point.
That's the point.
Think about it.
Yes.
Yeah. But it basically it's basically a book that goes through the intersection of quantum physics and spirituality. And I love it. I love it because it sparks in me new ideas and new thoughts and new considerations from a different point of view. And so that's the value for me. I don't take any of it as gospel, but it sparks something in me. So that's where I am.
Nice. Yep. I love things that leave me with more questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I studied that book as part of a class, all of us in the class, we got to the kind of the end and we said, well, there's only one answer to the Everything Answer book, and that is this. I don't know. That's the answer. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, we missed this one. Thanks, Andy. Love you guys so much. This is the most intimate Zoom kind of thing I have ever been a part of. Yay! This is so good. Yay, love it.
Yeah. Steph and I, we put it out there.
What's that?
You and I, we just put it out there.
We just put it out there. Yeah. We do. Because we meet every Friday anyway, so now we just do it live.
Yes.
And drink some coffee from our go-to mugs.
My No Drama Llama mug.
No Drama Llama, yeah. I've had this cup for decades. 30 years I've been drinking from this cup, and I just now saw that there's like a tiny little printing right here that's like a website and a 1-800 number and a copyright symbol. Like, that's fascinating. That's the first time I've ever noticed that. So it's possible to be in something. That's my takeaway for you about that, is that, like, go to books you've already read. You will find more things. You will find nuggets.
Oh yeah.
I mean, every time I open a Butterworth or a Fillmore or a Holmes book, it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they said that. Oh my God, changes everything.
Yeah.
It changes everything. Yeah. So come to life with a conscious curiosity. You know?
Isn't that what life is all about?
That's what life is all about. Conscious curiosity. Stay present for the moment. Don't live outside of like the possibilities, right? The infinite possibilities are everywhere. You have the power inside of you. It's in your DNA.
Your divine natural authority.
Your divine natural authority. Absolutely. Well, so it sounds like we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like we're wrapping up. Short one today, I guess. Short one. It's been 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anybody? Yeah. Wayne Horde's books. Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I used to. I have since become a minimalist. So, and I've buying this house and moving to this home that I'm in right now, which I love. I'm not going anywhere for some time. Mm-hmm. This was move number 29 in 23 years.
No.
So do the math, right? I'm not living anywhere for more than 3 years. And I was carrying around 56 boxes of books, like my first like 15 moves. And then I was like, I'm never reading that book. Like you go to pack it and you.
So I have bookshelves in my office. You can't see them on the camera, but they're over there. And I've been looking at them recently. We're about to have a yard sale here at Unity of Tucson. And I'm thinking, yeah, I think it's time to release a lot of that to the yard sale.
And then you're just sharing the love.
Well, and that's the thing, like they do no one any good by sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Like, have I read all of them? And the thing is, I haven't read all of them. So I need to be really clear. Am I going to read them, or are they just going to sit and collect dust? Yeah. I've read most of them, but it's time to allow other people to have access to this, to the energy of those books. Now, there's one book that I will not get rid of, and that is the very first Science of Mind that I ever bought that sits in tatters on that shelf because it was so well used.
Oh, you don't give away stuff like that. That's like a security blanket.
Yeah, I can't let that. Besides which, it's got all my highlights and notes and scribbles.
Yes, yeah. I kept buying duplicates, so I now have an app, and I have scanned in and typed out like every book that's in this house. Because, and that way I'm going to go buy a book. Let me see. Do I have that book already? Because duplicate books. I have purchased multiple copies of books because I'm not willing to give it away, but people keep asking. So I'm like, you need to read this book. Here's a copy for you.
Yeah. I need to get new copies, multiple, of Biology of Belief, because somebody asked me if they could borrow my copy, and I realized, I let somebody else borrow my copy some time ago, and it never got returned, which I'm grateful that it's getting utilized, but I don't have a copy of that book anymore. Yeah. I love that book. Yeah.
I haven't read that. I think it's in my Amazon cart right now, because you said something about it a while ago, a couple weeks ago. So it's been in my Amazon. I have an Amazon wish list. If anyone wants to buy me a book, that's my email address right here. You can buy me books, no problem. That's my email address right there. I love books.
Wow.
Yeah. Danny's moving. I think we're done for today. I think we're
okay.
We're just.
Well, I get to go to the.
We're just chilling now.
I get to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles after this. So. Yes.
Well, prayers up for you, beloved.
Thank you.
Prayers up. I think, I think we really need to work on normalizing prayer. And just make it like, before anything, you know what? Now's a good time to pray. Before anything, I'm going to go start my car in the winter. This is a great example. Like Tammy went to start. It was minus 27 with a wind chill of minus 40 something the other day. And we don't have the ability to plug our car in this house right now. So she went out and the car went, and then she prayed, and then the car went vroom. So you can't tell me prayer doesn't work for everything.
It works for everything.
It works for everything. It works for everything. Yeah. Including changing diagnoses. Including everything. It works for everything.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
If I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be doing what I do.
I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't believe that. Right? Yeah. Who would I be?
All right. Well, Steph, I love you.
I love you.
And I love all our magnificent community that joins us each week. Do spread the word. Let people know that we have Radically Affirmative New Thought every Friday, 9:30.
Except next Friday.
Sorry?
Except next Friday.
Oh, well, I won't be here. You can, if you want to do a Radically Affirmative New Thought.
I could. I would have to find someone.
Or you could just be on your own. You know what? Actually, maybe Greg. Hey, Greg, you want to be on Radically Affirmative New Thought? I'll connect you two. You will love Greg.
My goodness.
You'll love Greg.
I love him already.
I'll put it out there.
Anyone you love, I love. It's guaranteed.
So I will not be here. Maybe Steph will be here. But the reason that I'm not going to be here is because my husband is being sworn in as a U.S. citizen next Friday morning.
Yes.
He's Canadian. We met when I was living in Canada. We got married there, moved here, and he has become a U.S. citizen. And so he gets sworn in next week.
That's awesome.
So I will be at that ceremony.
Yes, that's wonderful. Congratulations to him.
Yay, Dane.
And to you.
Thank you.
And all of that goodness. Yeah. Yes. So. And here's Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Mm-hmm. She's like, so she loves Kleenexes. So she saw one on the table. That's what she's trying to get.
What is it about dogs and Kleenexes and paper towels and things like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Marcus,
cardboard.
Was crazy for it.
Yeah. Dan, it's been since day one. Her first Kleenex got her hooked.
Yeah.
Kleenex. It's the gateway.
All right,
okay,
friend.
Everybody, lots of love to each and every one of you. Thanks for watching and participating in all of this. Yeah. And we'll see you when we see you. Have a great week.
Bye.